about to start this meeting in Elliot's absence. He is home sick. I am the vice president, so therefore I will lead the meetings this evening. We're going to start at, it's 5:03 PM with the budget hearing and candidate forum. And after that concludes, we'll have a short break and then we will resume our monthly trustee meeting. And our distinguished visitors tonight are always welcome to stay for that meeting, okay? And welcome to all. So I will turn this over now to Kelly.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I think all of you know me, but I'll introduce myself anyway. My name is Kelly Harris. I'm the executive director here at the John Germain Memorial Library. And one of the very official things I get to do is the budget hearing. So let's talk, let's do math. Said no librarian ever joyfully, but here we are. Okay, so the 2026 proposed budget for this year, tax monies raised for operations is about $2.6 million. 905,000 of the budget is, or of the tax monies raised goes to the debt service. If you remember, in 2016, we completed a renovation and restoration of the library. We will have that paid off in 2029. So the total tax levy is $262, or about $3.5 million.
Excuse me 1 second.
yes.
Can you see?
Can you all see?
Yeah, screen, what we going on here?
So
I don't need to see them.
You don't need to see. We do receive some other funds. Our library does not solely run on tax levy or tax dollars. So we get about $19,000 in state aid and pilot monies. Pilots are payments in lieu of taxes. So, sort of one of the best example I can use is somebody like, PSE&G. They generally do not pay taxes like a property owner would pay. They pay what is known as a payment in lieu of taxes. So they pay taxes at a different rate than you do. So we get some pilot funds, we get some state aid. We also get a little bit of E-rate money, and that's to defray the cost of our broadband internet. In terms of library generated funds, we are intending to use about $364,000. That money comes from our reserves, and it also comes from interest on investments. The library basically invests in treasury notes and CDs. They're all backed by the full faith of the US government. So it's a very safe place for us to make a little bit of interest on our money that we can use to keep taxes down, but keep library services high. In terms of disbursements, about 1.3 million goes to library salaries. We have 22 staff members here. Most of them are full-time. With regards to employee benefits and payroll taxes, you're looking about 797,000. Library materials and programs is shy of 300,000. Administrative and office expenses, which is insurances, copiers, supplies, computers, things of that nature. $230,000. Buildings and grounds, it takes about $314,000 to keep our grounds looking nice and our building clean. That also includes all of our utilities. And then the disbursement for debt service, which is again, that $905,000. So I think you can see, but the total amount of income matches the total amount that we dispersed. So in terms of what does this mean to you? The proposed tax levy increase for the entire year is $128,869. This increase falls under the tax cap. And basically, if you live in $1 million home, your taxes go up by about $1.47 a month. Which maps out to about $17.60 for the year, which is less than the cost of a hardcover book. So what is in there? Where are our major increases? So in 4 major categories, library materials, we're seeing an increase of $16,000. That includes increases to books, digital downloads, which are our ebooks, our e-audiobooks, films. We subscribe to many things beyond the Libby or the Overdrive collection, which also includes Canopy and Hoopla, which is additional ebooks, audiobooks, films that are not available to all Suffolk County residents. These are actually John Germain Library user specific. In increase in programming, our sort of largest increase in terms of percentage is to library programming, and that's $14,000. And the increase to programming is a direct result of our community survey, which we did last year, and part of our strategic plan of service. So the one thing that people really, really wanted more of was library programs. And so in order for us to do that, we need a little bit more money to do that. In terms of buildings and grounds, we're seeing an increase of about $34,000. Just as a reminder, that is not just maintenance of the building. Maintenance contracts are always going up, but it's also insurance of the building, utilities, furniture and equipment. We did do a small blow up a couple of years ago where we redid the lower level. But a lot of what is also in the building is from 2016, it's about 10 years old. We're looking at, things that we need to do to continue to refresh the building. And then payroll and benefits. It's actually only about a 2.1% increase this year, or about $44,000. And that includes things like salary, insurance benefits, and retirement. So what does the library do? Just some of the services that the library provides to the community include research assistance, public computers, printers, scanners. We circulate the largest library of things on the South Fork, which includes our Wi-Fi hotspots, our museum passes, yard games, lots of stuff. If you haven't seen our library of things, please take a look on the second floor. We have lots of things to circulate. It also includes all of our programs. So we do film programs, concerts, programs for children, teens, families, seniors. Earlier today, we had a ceramic bird program, which lots of people are learning the art of ceramics. And they're making a ceramic bird, which is a 3-part series. And so they make the bird the first 2 weeks, it gets fired, and they get it on the 3rd week. So we really are fortunate that we have the opportunity, that we have the community talent, but also that we are funded in such a way that we're able to offer these programs to the members of our community. It also pays for downloadable books, audiobooks, newspapers, films, anything that's in an e-format. The costs of downloads are always going up. Something a lot of people don't know is that e-books and e-audiobooks, what you pay for your personal copy at home, whether you order it through Barnes & Noble or Amazon, is a much lower price than what libraries pay for. And really what we're paying for is licensing. And there is a lot of different ways that the publishers choose to sell libraries that licensing and at what price they sell it. So as our physical collection decreases, which is something that is happening locally, on a state level, and globally, our e-resources or our e-circulation is increasing at the same rate. People are using a different format, and we want to be able to meet that demand. We also do classes in the use of computers and other technologies. Right now, we've done quite a few series of classes on AI and Chat GPT. And so one of the things we feel very strongly about here is libraries are places of learning and as technology moves rapidly, a lot of us, myself included, are not in school anymore. And so where are you going to learn about new technology? Where are you going to learn how to use your iPhone, which comes with no directions, right? Because it's supposed to be intuitive. It's not. So we're here to help you with that. And then perhaps what I think is one of the most important things we offer here is quiet spaces to work, but also to think and to dream. And so I would say, does anybody have any questions? I know you all want to hear the candidates speak, so I won't take it personally if you have any questions.
Well presented.
Thank you, Nada. So just as a reminder, the budget vote and trustee election is next Thursday, September 25th, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here in this room. If you are unable to vote in person, please contact the school district clerk about voting by absentee.
I noticed there was no budget line item for snacks.
No, there was none.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in there, but it's deep in there. We did not raise the budget line for staff.
Very
Um,
unfortunate.
So that is my slideshow. What I would like to do is invite our candidates up to sit in these seats here. We do have a fourth candidate, Elliot Soroka. He is homesick, but since we could Zoom him in, we will. So you don't have to sit where you can trade class of that. Squared away. Hello, can you hear us?
Is that Ellie?
That is
Your
Elliot.
husband?
Oh, that's her husband.
That's my husband. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, let me see if I can get Elliot to on the screen here. It doesn't always love when we switch from a PowerPoint to something else.
Let's go to Pine.
Try this. Plug that back in, and it should. All right. Wanda, can you get Ellie again? It should just magically go. Elliot, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
And I just can't see you on my big screen.
Okay. Should I
Fine.
press the thing that says plus?
No,
I didn't think so.
on my end, I'm sorry. So let's. What I wanna do is I'll let Ellie come in and figure that out, but I don't wanna keep this going too long, so. What we can do is we can start with the other. I can't answer that in there. They've not given me this one to say. All right. Megan, can you go out to the desk and tell them that I can't get to the faucet to answer? Ooh, maybe they're calling Nada. Yeah. To help.
They silence their phones during the meeting.
And you know what the fun part is we totally practiced this, so. Thank you.
Wanda and
Okay,
you're on it.
okay, good,
Let her take her down.
awesome. Okay, So we will get Elliot up on the screen shortly, but I think we can start with introduction. So we have Robin Obler, who is in the first seat, Lori Gibbs Harris in the second seat, and then Paula Wagner over here. And so we'll start with Robin because she's at the end. But could you describe, that's not the one I want to start with. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us why you are running for trustee.
Well, I am a trustee. This, I'm finishing up my third year. I wanted to run for trustee, because very interested in the whole idea of people having access to information. That it's necessary for making decisions about our day-to-day life, and I feel that the library is the source of that, or the repository of that, and so I wanted to be part of that. I believe that libraries are free to follow the mandate about being safe, accessible places, that people can get trusted information. And that's basically why I wanted to be that and to advocate for that.
Lori, same question.
So I've been a Sag Harbor resident, I'm all my life. And I think of the library as someplace where everyone is welcome and everyone has access to information. And I think when you come to the library versus so many places in our communities, you will see a very broad spectrum of people here. And I have such a level of respect for the fact that this is a community gathering place that I want to support that. So that's my primary motivation. And I think there's some challenging issues out there confronting libraries, and I'd like to participate in forming those policy implications, programming. So I think I can add value, as well as it's a place I think of as very high functioning, community engaged, and the kind of place where I'd like to participate.
Paula, no surprise, same question.
Well, they've said it a lot, and I agree with all of it. I guess, what I think is the main reason, I want to see this library grow. And I want to see it, branch out and be bold as a major institution in our community, as a place to, get information, correct information, not misinformation, and for people to have a forum to participate in the community.
Elliot, you're now on the big screen. You wanna answer the same question?
Can you hear me?
I can.
You can. Okay. So you say I'm on a screen?
We're on the screen. We
I
can
have
all
no
hear
se-
you.
Okay, all right. Let me know if you have trouble hearing me, or if the picture is not clear or whatever, because I can't tell anything here. I can't put my glasses on because they create shadows all over the thing, reflections, I guess. So anyway, why? Well, I am currently a trustee. I'm currently the president. I spent my first 2 years of my term as treasurer. So of course I've been very focused on money, but that's an important part of what the trustee's responsibility is. We're fiduciaries, responsible for the money of the taxpayers, making sure that it's properly spent, ethically spent, creatively spent, that good programs are coming out of it, that the library is being run responsibly, and the facility is in great shape, the collection's in good shape. All of these things are responsibilities of the trustees to provide oversight about. We don't participate directly in programming, and I don't think we should. But what we do is we try to support the director in programming, partly through financial means, making sure that there's enough money to do what needs to be done. Kelly did an awful lot, actually. She's minimizing it, I think, about improvements in the building over the last 3 years. The glow up was a very real thing. The first floor children's area has never looked as welcoming as it does now. And also she's created a space on the second floor designated for teens, which is very important because everybody knows that is a very important demographic for us to try to hold on to. You know, kids coming when they're little is easy in a sense, but keeping them coming when they get a little bit older is very tough in that transition to adulthood. So both in terms of programs that we offer for teens and in terms of the improvement of the facility, I think that's been important. And another thing that was done was, Kelly replaced every light bulb in the building. And again, these are infrastructure things, some of which you don't even necessarily focus on, but they're important because, again, to go to the point several of the candidates have made, it's critical that the library be a welcoming place for everybody. And all of these things contribute to that, to make people feel comfortable in the building. I mean, right now, of course, we're doing this giant HVAC project, which is not very sexy, but of course, it's one of the most important parts of a library is to preserve the physical collection. So the air quality has to be excellent, has to be a comfortable place for people to sit and read at any time of year. So anyway, I would like to continue into a second term because there's a lot more that I feel we can do along these lines. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy my colleagues on the board, enjoy working with Kelly, and I feel like we're doing good things for the community.
Thank you, Elliot. Paula, we'll start this question with you. Please describe your relationship with the library. What services do you generally use the library for? Programs, checking out materials? Do you use ebooks or other digital services?
I've got a long history with the library. And I've done a number of research projects using the archive. Catherine helped, and before that, Sue Smythe helped me do a couple. I did a map quest about Sag Harbor, and she introduced me to these beautiful old maps of Sag Harbor. And then another project I did was on William Wallace Tooker, because I was interested in the photographs that he took, being a photographer myself. So yeah, the research facilities are great. And then more recently, Catherine helped me with something at the Historical Society that we were doing. But I've also attended food programs, cooking programs, which are great. I've used the ebooks. And actually, I've had some difficulty using them, but because I guess they're very popular and the ones that I want, I can't get, but other than that, yeah, and then I just come here sometimes just to have some peace and think about, issues and do some work, and yeah, that's it. I love the library.
We like to hear when people love the library.
Yeah.
Lori, same question.
So I borrow books. I love perusing the stacks, and I love the fact that the cooking section is so extensive and just can spend hours in there. I use ebooks. One of the services I love is that you can borrow a book from any of the libraries. I borrowed a book in Montauk and was able to return it here, which just blew me away. I thought that was phenomenal. But I wanted recently a neighbor who is an author came in to learn about publishing ebooks. And I thought that was quite extraordinary that the library could be that much of a resource to the community. So beyond my own utilization, I know my community, our communities are utilizing services here that are unbeknownst to some of us. I always refer to call it the library of things, and tell people that you can borrow tools. I have yet to borrow a tool, but will anticipate doing that. And I'm very excited about the digitization project, because some of our communities don't have the kind of access to archiving their photographs and their family stories. And so I'm really excited that the library has taken on that responsibility, and I'm really looking forward to helping some of our smaller nonprofits or smaller community organizations participating in the digitization. I think that's phenomenal, so that's how I utilize it.
Robin, same question.
Basically, I've always been a big reader, and I've been a member of the Wednesday Night Book Club for like well over 10 years, I think now. I've borrowed many books and movies over the years, and gone to the films that are shown here, many of the author presentations. A whole bunch of different programs. I used to spend a lot of time with my grandson when he was little in the children's section. And that was always great for him. He loved coming here. Borrowed museum passes. And actually just recently went to Anthony, our emergent technology librarian, for technology questions, and he was great. It was just on the fly, and he just answered it, and he started typing everything in for me, and he almost did the whole thing for me, basically. I would also like to see all of our different kinds of communities out there, you know, have a bit more access, and maybe that gets the kinds of programs or questions or whatever. Because I think that some people are not using it as much as they could. I'm a volunteer at the food pantry, and I think there's some populations there that don't know about a lot of things that could be well served with the programs and the information that we provide here. And I think that's something that I would like to work towards.
So I'm gonna go back to Elliot, but I'm gonna ask him a different question, because I feel like he sort of answered it when he spoke, the question I just asked you when you spoke before. But Robin, you know, just sort of said that she feels that we could be doing a better job reaching other parts of the community, such as the individuals who also use the food pantry. Elliot, do you think if there was one thing, or an initiative or a service that the library could consider providing that they do not currently provide?
Well, I think that the library's participation with other organizations is something that I would like to see the library do more. And I would like to be part of some of that. I know there was at one time, there was actually some sort of a community of organizations working together. We do work with a number of organizations individually or on special projects or whatever. But I just would, I would enjoy seeing us collaborating with other organizations more often or more extensively than we do. I mean, I think a lot of the local chamber programs and things like that, like Harbor Fest and so forth, we have a good presence there. But I don't know, I think that would be a good thing to do, partnering with other organizations. Like, I think one of the great things about the archive project is that it is overlapping with other nonprofits and other organizations in the community. Because anytime that we can be using our weight and our history as an institution to work with others, it's for everybody's benefit.
Paula, same question. What initiatives or services that do you think the library should consider providing that we do not currently provide?
Well, I'll be specific. The community is growing older, and Sag Harbor really doesn't have a center for elderly people. There is a community center on the turnpike, and some people use that, but it's not central to Sag Harbor. And Stony Brook and a number of organizations had people come out and we'll talk about wellness. We can do projects, chair yoga. I'm not sure if we do that. All sorts of things that could interest the elderly, but not only wellness, also discussion groups on current events and what's going on in the community, and possibly organizing
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can't leave behind older people because they have a wealth of information and experience. And they are leaders like Nada and Allison. So, yeah, that's one group, but I have other ideas, of course, but that's it, okay.
Okay. Lori, same question.
So I'm gonna dovetail on Paula's comment because I think our senior citizens, and I'm gonna just, retire, I am retired. And I agree with you completely that seniors are looking for community. And that's vital to keeping a community strong. And the library offers this sort of multi-generational environment. And if seniors had a safe place to come and learn, I think some of the new technologies are frightening, and that the opportunity to come and learn about AI and new technologies in a more relaxed, sort of prolonged environment where you're not just coming in, you're sitting down one time for a workshop, or where you get that reinforcement over time would be a great evolution that would also kind of establish the library as a place for seniors to come and learn. One of the, I've been in small business, and so I think entrepreneurship, that we should find a way to help young entrepreneurs or people who are shifting careers and want to start a business, something around small business and entrepreneurship is a possibility of a way to further engage the community. But I think the library, for the most part, does a very phenomenal job with its current program offering. And I'm very sensitive to what budget constraints might be, as well as personnel constraints. So I would really look to Kelly and staff to identify where the growth is possible, what funding's available, and follow their lead. I think, sometimes people throw things out there and they're not really doable, or they're not, feasible. So that's my.
Thank you. Oh, here's a fun one. One of librarians love to talk about this, but October 5th through 11th is Banned Book Week this year. This is an awareness campaign that calls attention to challenged and banned books. With challenges to materials in school and public libraries on the rise nationally and regionally, even here in Suffolk County. What do you feel the role of library trustee is in addressing material challenges locally or even on a state and national level? Robin?
Well, I did have a list I wanted to give you about the program. But I can go back to that.
Okay.
Well, basically, I think advocacy is something that is, one of the main things I think that we can do. And I think the trustees have to advocate for the right for all members of the community to have access to the materials they're interested in or that are relevant for them. And to hopefully provide a safe environment for them to gain access to these materials. As far as what these might be, I have my lists here. Again, surveys and asking people what they want, what they're interested in, and having things in different languages. Whether it's different programs or different materials available, or the services that are offered in the languages that other, people in our community speak. And then also knowing how to protect the privacy of patients, what their requests are and their personal information. And I was able to go to an advocacy meeting at NYLA this past spring, and I was very excited to hear about all of the things that librarians and libraries across New York State certainly are able to do now, legally and politically, in terms of keeping people safe in the library, both the staff and the patrons. and what all laws actually are that libraries can follow in order to not have to give information over if they don't want to, not having to open doors if they don't want to, and all of that kind of stuff. So I think all of these things are also part of advocacy, and in terms of banned books in general, I was thinking that perhaps, I know that there's gonna be banned book week, and I don't know exactly what kinds of things the library is planning on doing, but I was thinking about discussion groups about banned books, if they could be held, like sort of mini book clubs. As a member of a book club, I know it takes a long time commitment that you have to give, and a lot of people can't do that. But perhaps even starting with a small book club dealing with some children's books that people could actually read within the context of that club meeting, and then discuss, why is this banned? What does it mean? What is it, why is it being attacked? And then maybe working up to the harder books that are being banned as something that we could possibly do and offer the community.
Awesome. Lori,
So the banned book club was one of the libraries, banned book club was one of the book clubs that really sparked my curiosity. And so I've read 2 of the books that have been banned. I was really surprised to hear that one of those books was banned Mid-Island, and we think we're in this liberal safe haven, and it turns out that that's not the case. So I've been intrigued by the whole concept. I'm reading Eleanor and Park, which is the banned book club's current book for September. And I find it really challenging to understand why people have objections to the 2 books that I've read. I mean, we all remember when Catcher in the Rye was inflammatory. But I guess banned books, I'm opposed to banned books, but I feel obligated to listen to people about why they take issue with the book. And I think that the community has the right to decide for itself whether or not a book is inappropriate. I don't know, I like the idea of getting feedback if the library were asked to ban a book. But I have a problem with selected individuals deciding for the majority that they shouldn't have access to a book that's been published, but. So I'm participating in the banned book reading, and so far I can't say that I understand why the books are banned, so.
Paula, same question?
Yeah, I was looking at my notes there. There's I guess a seminar here called I'm with the Banned Book Club,
Yes.
and it's under adults. And I think it should include teens, because teens would love to probably participate in something like that and find out, why is this banned? What's going on? That's another group that I'm concerned about, and that is the teens. I don't see enough teens here, and I'm not sure. I think it's a public relations issue that we have to figure out. But we gotta draw them in, because we gotta give them good information. And so the other thing that I wanted to mention was this, there have any books really been banned in the library?
Not this library.
Okay, so no forms have been filled
No.
out by citizens?
No.
No,
No.
okay, that's interesting.
So, we're very fortunate, that we, at least, as long as I have been here, which is about 4 years, we have not received any, requests for reconsideration. The library does have a policy, a request for reconsideration policy. If somebody has an issue with an item that's on the shelf, it does not have to be a book. Maybe they don't love that we have a bird watching kit in the library of things. I don't know. They can fill out a form for a request for reconsideration, and there is a policy and a process by which those items are reviewed. And then a decision is made. So we are fortunate here. Have we had people tell us they don't like some of the books on our shelves? Sure. Has anybody formally complained? No. So, Elliot, do you have anything to add to that conversation?
Well, you know, this whole issue of censorship is very complicated because as trustees, we have a responsibility, you know, legally to protect people's rights. I mean, it's part of our official or unofficial responsibilities. We have, you know, obligations to the First Amendment of the Constitution. We also have, you know, obligations to the state and regional library associations to do certain things to protect the privacy of our readers, but also to protect the rights of both the readers and the writers for that matter. In other words, we do have a responsibility so that if we are challenged on something, we do have a responsibility to advocate for the rights, the relevant First Amendment rights of the writers and the readers. There's no question about that. It's just become very complicated in the current political climate because the challenge is becoming more frequent. We're lucky that we haven't dealt with it too much here. And you know, a lot of this is a matter of keeping your head down until you need to take a position. When the the Institute for Museum and Library Libraries was the federal government attempted to eliminate that. I and a number of the trustees and Kelly too participated in various advocacy on behalf of that organization. And that kind of thing is very important because even if it doesn't affect us directly, we have a responsibility to other libraries to support this. And advocacy, part of the point is that you're trying to get across to the public. You're trying to convey the importance of what the library does and the importance of the library not being censored or restricted in what it's trying to do. And that's an important message to get out there. So that message we do want to do, because a lot of the problem, I think, in the political climate is simply that there's a lack of respect for what libraries do at the federal level. And that is a bad situation. So it isn't just a matter of fighting against it. It's a matter of saying, no, we are important. And that's the side of it that, you know, I look forward to continuing to work more along those lines.
I'm gonna ask you an easy question now. And we'll start with Elliot. What is your favorite? I'm not gonna ask you your favorite book because I feel like that's like asking people who their favorite child is. And I know everyone has one, they just can't say it out loud. So I will say, what is your favorite genre and what format do you prefer to read in? And I'll start with Elliot.
Oh.
Well, I do admit, I got to admit, I read primarily for escape and I read primarily fiction. And at this point in my life, that is largely what I've been doing.
Paula.
Oh gosh, that's really hard, and you're right. So I will say mysteries. And I just, well, a couple years ago, I went to Scotland and I got into Peter May. And so I've been trying to read those books. And then a friend of mine is a writer and she wrote some mysteries. And so I've been reading those. And, you know, it's like, I just keep on finding these mysteries that I have to read.
Lori.
Definitely historical fiction, and my current favorite book is Covenant of Water. And so I'm working my way through, cutting for stone now. And just, but I do love historical fiction, cookbooks, which I've already mentioned. And some of us, I'm a gardener, so I think we'll read books about the natural environment and gardening. But historical fiction.
And Robin.
I basically do paper books more than anything else now, because I don't have long car commutes anymore, now that I live in town. I think my favorite genre also is fiction of various sorts. Fiction was sort of my reward of all my years in college and graduate school, when I didn't have to read nonfiction anymore. As soon as the semester ended, I could read a novel. And that was always, a joy. I also read nonfiction, but sort of sociological, anthropologically inclined kind of nonfiction books. If I can mention one. A book called Fantasyland by Kurt Anderson, who is a New York Times writer. And it came out, I think, 2017, 2019, something like that. And he traces like the underlying ideology of America from its inception and how it's led to the development of all the craziness that we have from all the weird cults and communities and belief systems and conspiracy theories and the current political positions some people hold, which I thought was really very, very interesting. Something about Disneyland and all kinds of other things. Isabel Wilkerson's books, particularly Caste, which I thought was a very interesting take on an understanding of race relations, a different way of looking at it, which I thought was very good. And in terms of novels, I don't think I've read anything that I like better than A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, a while ago. It was just, you sit there with your mouth open as you were reading it.
I drove with my mouth open listening to it. I actually just finished that book.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you
It was
do that Mickey
amazing.
Mouse speak?
It was at Mickey Mouse. Yeah. We'll have to talk about that book later.
Yeah.
So we have about 10 minutes left. I wanted to give members of our audience or our trustees an opportunity to ask a question. I saw Nada's hand went up first.
I'd like to hear a little more about the background of our three candidates.
Sure.
Where they come from, a little bit of your history, or whatever you've done in your life.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we can start with you.
I'll go. So, let me see. I went to, I lived in Boston for 5 years after high school. And there I became fairly politically involved, and I started with some friends, a preschool for blue collar workers. Because at that time, and this was in the early 70s, education was not as accessible as it is now. And I don't know, I studied photography. I worked as a photographer in California at the University of California when I was attending Berkeley. I worked as a scientific photographer as well as a museum photographer at the Anthropology Museum there because I studied anthropology. And after college, I was sort of in a quandary what I was going to do. So I worked at Levi Strauss & Company, which was an interesting experience. It was a time of transition for them. It was the late 70s, and I was doing project development with them, but I didn't find that it was really what I wanted to do. And so I applied to the Peace Corps, and in the Peace Corps, I was sent to Paraguay, South America. And I worked in the health and sanitation program to get members of a very small farming community, pretty remote, to install latrines and surprise. And protect their wells so that they have safe well drinking water and spring protection, things like that. We started gardens. I helped build a school in this community. They had a one-room schoolroom, and kids lined up on benches and of all ages in this one room. And the teacher was really quite phenomenal. But we decided to really try and build a school where there were different rooms for different age groups. Excuse me. So we did that, and then I came back and I said, well, I gotta figure out, what to do, and it seemed like a natural progression to get into education, public education. So I studied at Columbia Teachers College, got a master's degree, and worked in the public school system in New York City for 15 years. And at the same time, I got a certificate in public history and archives. And for the past 12 years, I've been doing that, working as an archivist and doing project work. So that's it.
Lori,
So, let's see, my father's was a doctor, mother was a New York City public school teacher. She taught science, and we had the good fortune to spend our summers here in Sag Harbor. I was almost born here, literally, many years ago. And so I've spent all my life in Sag Harbor. The vast majority of it was summers, but we've had many a hurricane, many a Thanksgiving, many a Christmas out here. Sag Harbor for me has always been where I intended to retire to. I went to Columbia University, got a BA in economics a long time ago. Went to Wall Street for a while. And during the whichever financial crisis it was, I moved out of New York City, left Wall Street and went to Hartford, Connecticut, the insurance capital of the world, and got involved in commercial real estate. And I subsequently spent the last 30 years of my career in office buildings, shopping centers. I built 120 units of senior housing. Commercial real estate. While I was doing commercial real estate, I served on the board of Yerba Buena Center for the Arts in San Francisco. So I'm sorry, I should have said I moved to San Francisco 35 years ago, got married, did commercial real estate with large insurance companies, but I served on the board of Yerba Buena, and this was a multidisciplinary arts institution where we had dance and film and installations, and it was just a beautiful time to be
Yeah,
in San
yeah.
Francisco.
Agreed.
I've served on the board of Working Solutions, which is a micro lender where we make loans to very small businesses. And there I also got involved in mentoring small businesses and really trying to help entrepreneurs figure out strategies to grow their business or merge their business or shift their business. And let's face it, the economy, politics, all kinds of things happen and you have to shift, and people need advisors to assist them in helping to do that. And so while doing commercial real estate and finance and lending and all of that, my passion really has been serving in the arts for arts organizations as well as supporting entrepreneurs. 2 years ago, I had the fulfillment of my lifelong dream, and why I put up with working for institutions. I retired and was able to move back to Sag Harbor, where I live full-time now. I'm 5 houses from the sea, and I consider myself extremely blessed to be back in Sag Harbor with my health and my mind and able to contribute to the community that's given, just a lifelong of fulfillment. I serve on the board of the Horticultural Association currently. I'm involved with my HOA. And really feel like I just love this community and feel like community building and helping people and advising people is just as important to me as listening to people and helping them to navigate complex environments, whether it's, business or personal or just what do we do with, the gentrification that's happening in my community. That's me.
Robin.
Well, I come from a sort of different kind of a background as ladies. I grew up in Brooklyn and I did my undergraduate degree at Brooklyn College in anthropology. And then I did a graduate degree at CUNY Graduate Center, but in between, I took a few years off and was a dancer, and I performed professionally in various theaters and studios around New York City. I went back to graduate school and studied anthropology. I got an MA in anthropology. My area of interest was Southeast Asia, and I had visited Indonesia and other countries around the area because that was where I was going to do my field work. And it was going to be on religious movements, and this was in the late 70s. And I was interested in Islamic fundamentalism, and I wound up not doing field work because actually it was kind of dangerous. And I also adopted a child, and I got nervous about bringing the child to live in Indonesia amidst all of this. But I sort of had some regrets years later with the various political things that happened and feeling that, oh, well, if I would have done that, I would have had a lot of work because things, my specialties would have been well sought in terms of government and what we were doing at the time with Iraq and all of that. Anyway, we moved to Sag Harbor about 33 years ago. My kids went to school here. I was on the PTA for a certain amount of time. I worked in a local bookstore, which sort of fueled my addiction for books for both myself and my family. I taught Pilates for a while at a local Pilates studio. And then I sort of went back to anthropology and started working with a good friend of mine who had a consulting agency that dealt with Native American issues. And we did research for a whole bunch of tribes all over the country in order to write reports for them that were basically sent to the BIA in order to get either status recognition or land issues or membership issues or all kinds of things. And that meant doing a lot of traveling and going to all kinds of libraries, university libraries, all kinds of archives all over the country, government offices, churches, deed places, whatever you call them. And it sort of spurred my interest in the importance of open access to information, because amazing things were discovered just by going through the pages, in all of these places that, you wouldn't have been able to find if we didn't have access to it. So that's, and then after doing that for about 10 years, COVID happened. And so that sort of put a kibosh on any more work in that regard. And also the first Trump administration, which sort of closed down any kind of funding for all of this work or interest in Native American communities. And I worked for the Hamptons Documentary Film Festival for a while. And I'm also a member, as I said before, of the food pantry for probably 8 to 10 years now. And now I'm here.
Elliot, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. Well, let's see. I did a master's and in drama and then at Carnegie Mellon, and then a PhD in drama and humanities at Stanford. And I started out originally planning to be a college teacher and to direct and produce plays at the college level. And I did teach first at Stanford as a fellow, and then at San Francisco State, and then the University of Delaware. I taught briefly at Baruch College once I came to New York, and got out of teaching as a regular full-time occupation. And I wanted to get into arts presenting. So I came initially to the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in Manhattan, where I was the director of the arts programs in the early 80s. And then in 86, I came to Long Island to what was just at that point being identified as Tillis Center for the Performing Arts, which is on the CW Post campus. It's still there and still going strong. COVID, of course, took a toll on it these last few years. They've been digging back out again, like all organizations have. But it was a great time there. I was there for 29 years, and we built a big program and a big endowment, and we presented a lot of really wonderful stuff, and it was a great job. My wife and I have always loved Sag Harbor. We moved here in 2003. We bought our house and lived in it part-time, weekends and summer and stuff like that, until we retired, which was in 2015. And so it's great. I really enjoyed hearing about the other candidates and their feelings about Sag Harbor. I share those. I mean, I I'm only here now for 23 years, but I love it, and I feel very blessed. As Lori put it, I feel very blessed to be able to live here and to be able to contribute through being involved at the library. It's been great.
If, does anybody have any other questions or?
Go ahead, you go first.
As a trustee, all trustees are required to sit on a couple of committees that are established already. They're personnel, finance and legal, buildings and grounds, outreach, policy, and then we do have a member who sits on the board at Mashhashemewick Park. I guess for Lori and Paula, listening to those without knowing in depth what how these committees function per se, do any of them sort of spark interest in you, or do you feel that your contributions to any of them would draw you towards them? And I guess for Robin and Elliot, have you not served on any committee that, well, Elliot, you're ex-faction, but that you haven't sat on any committee that you would really be interested in sitting on? Because we do every year we can move committees, so it's not like you're on legal and finance for your term, you move around. So I just didn't know if you had like a knee-jerk reaction to any of those committees, what you'd be interested in, potentially.
Well, the outreach certainly interests me. And, I see the trustees as guides. I see them as overseers. I don't see them as, doing. I see them as guiding, showing the way. And the personnel committee, it would interest me. All of them interest me. I'd be willing to do anything. Grounds and maintenance.
I
I've
promise
done
you
a
don't-
lot of that.
You don't have to mow the lawn.
I want to remember that you would be interested on any of the committees, because nobody has yet mentioned Mash Park Committee. So since you said you're interested in any committee.
All right, yeah.
Thank you. So, I forgot to mention, I have an MBA in finance and real estate from Wharton, and I, just raise my hand for the finance committee because I feel like I have a deep bench there and never, deepening the bench is always a good thing. I've done litigation management, so I can probably be of assistance on legal as well. So I would certainly raise my hand for finance because it just never hurts. And I think we talked about funding challenges and we don't know how things are gonna work out. So other than that, outreach, because I represent a community that isn't necessarily as engaged as people would like it to be. But first and foremost, I'm gonna raise my hand for finance.
Well, I've been on, I think I was on the personnel committee once, and now I'm on outreach and the chair of policy, and, I think I like the fit of those.
Elliot, what's your favorite or least favorite child or committee?
Well, yeah, as I said, I've always, from the beginning, I've been involved with the finance area. I chaired that committee for a couple of years, and I'm still actively involved with that piece of it. And I would expect to continue to be. If reelected, I mean, I wanted to shift more of my focus towards generating funds in the sense of working on evolving the various fundraising programs or appeals that the library has. I think one thing that would be great for the library to have would be a longer list, frankly, of regular donors. Because, it's like they say in politics, a lot of it is you have buy-in, people that are willing not just to pay their taxes and use the library, but are willing to make, even if it's a small gift. I think it's a shame that we don't have more people that are making small gifts to the library. And I think that would be a good thing to do. I also would love to explore, as I mentioned, like some form of endowment or legacy fundraising. So those are areas that I'd like to be continuing to be involved with.
I have a question. Sure. So, how do these committees work? Because there's so many committees and there aren't very many trustees. So.
We work overtime
Some
and more overtime.
of,
Yeah.
some of
You're
the
on several.
committees, have very long names, so it sounds like a lot of committees, but some of them are like, personnel is personnel, but personnel is also legal, right?
No,
No,
it's
no,
legal, finance,
Finance.
contracts, is one committee.
It's all one committee, personnel is just personnel.
No, but my question is, who are the people that are on the committee?
Oh,
Trustees.
The trustees, so each trustee, is on two committees.
So it's a committee of one or two.
No,
No, the committees are three, usually three, and the president as ex officio.
Oh, okay, so,
some of us serve on 3 committees.
okay, so they're small committees.
Yeah.
Okay. There's only 8 of us.
Yeah.
And they often don't meet.
That's that's- Yes, you are.
God, you're going improved.
We meet for just the sake of holding a meeting.
Right.
Meetings are held for specific purposes.
Yes.
Good.
And by virtue of what some of the committees are, like buildings and grounds during an HVAC project, some of them meet every month, whether they want to or not. It depends what's happening in the library, but we do meet when we need to meet. Michael, I think you had a question?
I have a series of questions, but I don't want to get in anybody's way.
Okay,
I'll take a very short amount of time.
sure,
I won't even ask that the witnesses be sworn in,
okay.
you know. Ms. Wagner, thank you very much. I had a connection with your mom and your dad, an Armenian connection with your mom. We would often,
Yeah.
exchange Armenian phrases and
Sure.
remembrances and all. I have a great deal of respect for, your family and.
Incredible people.
Yes, for sure, for sure. The greatest generation, as they say, so, a question for you. You have vast experiences, but do you have any experiences with not-for-profit organizations or community organizations as a member or an active participant, which would make you well suited for something like this?
Yes, I have. I was on the board of trustees for the Sag Harbor Historical Museum. I helped them, generate money as well as conceive of an archive center, which they're in the process of, building, so that was one thing. I mean, the communiversity, that university that I was telling you about, that was a group effort of organizing and generating interest in and success for this institution.
And forgive me for asking, but were you just a participant in the group or were you in a leadership role?
A leadership role.
In a fiduciary
Yeah,
capacity?
yeah. It was, you know, maybe 4 or 5 of us, and it wasn't a one person thing. It was a group effort. As I was a member of the board of my co-op in Brooklyn, for 5 years.
Mhm.
And,
How large of a co-op was that?
pardon me?
How large of a co-op was that? How many units?
It was 35 units. It was a big one.
So you're used to dealing with sizable amounts of money and things of that nature,
Yeah,
renovations and
yeah,
parks and
yes,
things
I
of that
am,
nature.
and also, you know, different personalities.
Okay, but just as far as not-for-profit organizations or community groups, anything else?
Let me see. Oh, Bridgehampton Association, I'm on the board of that right now. And a member, active member, and we have a bookstore, Book Bay, which I work at. And, it's all volunteer. I don't know if any of you know of this organization, yeah?
By the firehouse.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
it's great, you know, it's like all donated books. And we sort them, we price them, we shelve them into different categories. And it's all volunteer work. The community association there has donated the space. And then the profits go to local charities or nonprofit organizations.
Thank you. Ms. Gibbs Harris? Hi, how are you?
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
Mike Garabedian, by the way. When you were introduced to the board at one time, or somebody had mentioned your name, they said you were a very big football fan.
Oh,
And we're going to be devoting a large portion of your retirement towards watching football in the during the season. I just wanted to say Jets, Giants, Cowboys, 49ers, since you had that San Francisco connection. I mean, don't answer that because that might prejudice, something elected. But I mean, you had taken away most of the questions that I had, and I had a series of, these questions as far as what personal or professional accomplishments that you have or life experiences that would make you best suited for the board. I think you definitely answered that. There's that familiar saying that there's no substitute for experience. And you talked about your involvement in several not-for-profit organizations. One question that I did have for you, you alluded to, and you included yourself in my community. And I think you said that at least more than a few times. And I wanted to know specifically, what members of the community are you referring to?
So, I live in what is known probably to the vast majority of people as Sag Harbor, Azurest, Nineveh, the historically Black beach communities. We have a specific overlay district, and I participated with my community, Sag Harbor Hills, Azurest, and Nineveh, in working with our homeowners to present to the village of Sag Harbor specific zoning restrictions that we wanted applied to our community.
All right, so speaking about your community, and I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions, but this has always been a topic of great interest as far as our board is concerned, because we feel that that community has been underserved. And we never thought of any ways to reach out and get that community more active. Was it something that perhaps the library itself wasn't doing? And if so, how would you engage that community and make it more of a part of the library community?
So thank you for the question and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address sort of the. Maybe the elephant in the room, just because diversity is not necessarily a topic that, you know, people are comfortable with right now. I think that, the library does a pretty phenomenal job. Like I said, I was here just this past week and at any given hour, there were three of my neighbors here. One was getting assistance with the passport and two writers were getting assistance with ebooks. The library for the older citizens is invaluable. I get that people don't feel like we are here, but we're borrowing books. We're intermittently coming in to utilize the services. Certainly, having more interactions. I'm not gonna say, come to our community events, because that's not what we're inviting from, you know, Sag Harbor Cinema or any place else. I think that there's plenty of opportunity around just general programming for seniors where people are made aware that this is a place where we want to create diverse and welcome diverse communities, and the topic can be AI and seniors of all stripes, I think.
And I
should
think
participate.
you're raising some excellent points, and you both had, and I'm sorry, Elliot and Robin, I mean, I'm ignoring you because we know you, you know, but I'm interested in hearing from the newer candidates. And as far as the seniors are concerned, I think the seniors are served pretty well here as far as the
Yes.
library, and I think they are well represented. I think they are active participants, but there are other members of the community that really are underserved. And you talked about the African American, the Black community, community where you live in. And it's wonderful that the seniors are participating, but this leads into, what about the younger people? The children are being accounted for, the teens are being accounted for to a certain extent through teen writing, and there's only so much you can do to engage a teen, no matter what you do. But what about, and this is a question for both of you, the young adults? Whether they're white, Black, Hispanic, or anybody, and we're talking about people who we at least have a young trustee here, and even, you know, some of the young parents. They're almost absent here, except for taking the kids and depositing them, you know, in the children's section. How would you engage these people? And this goes for, whether it's, you know, Black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, drawing these people in because they are members of the community. Paula, I mean, you can answer that.
Well, because, you know, I have relatives who are young adults and they are so busy. I mean, they are two parent workers. They have, you know, 2 or 3 kids. And they don't have time to really engage with a library right now. Because they've got to prepare meals, they've got to take care of the house, they've got to, you know, drive, they've got to commute, they've got so many responsibilities. And the nannies are, you know, people who come and take them to the library. But seriously, that's a really challenging issue, because
It
I
is.
don't know.
Right, so would you agree that they are a valuable members, they are valuable members of the community? So, and are we losing something by not having that contingent in? Are we losing something by not having other community groups and people, factions not included within our orbit here?
So I guess I think about it, I think the library is very successful. And the fact that and I appreciate the push to do more and be more, I think that's brilliant, and I don't know that any one initiative is going to immediately get you the survey results you want now. And so I think it's like, I think every institution in Sag Harbor struggles with what happens to our community for June, July, and August, where we're all just hiding. So that skews your numbers right there in our perception of, the success and engagement when, young people don't want to get on the roads, let alone go. So not to belabor the point, I think that there are certainly branded, African American book club, we can do, you can do Hispanic or Spanish language. But in some ways, you do need ambassadors, you do need advocates, and you do need to make an ongoing investment in being that place.
You guys committed to doing
Yeah,
that?
raising my hand.
That's good, that's good. I don't have any other questions.
So,
Thank you.
good question. So I think we've grilled our candidates for an hour, which seems like enough. Like, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, so,
Okay,
Madam
it's
Vice President.
6:25 and we are adjourning the budget hearing and candidate forum. And at 6:30, is that enough time?
5 minutes?
Yes. At 6:30, we will commence with our monthly trustee meeting. You're welcome to stay or not. Okay. Holding the regular board meeting of the John Germain Memorial Library, and I am leading the meeting this evening because, as you know, Elliot cannot, so I'm sure I'll remember how to do everything. So we begin with our period for public expression. That means anybody sitting back there, if you have something to say or a question, this is your opportunity.
I have one question. How long does it take for the videos to get online? Because the last one, I tried to access was from May.
They get online right around the time I get to putting them online. I'm sort of I usually am a few months behind on getting the videos up. And that's just because there's a finite number of people who know how to edit video. And I am that person, so I am admittedly behind. It's been on my list all week. So like my goal was to have it completely updated and it just didn't happen. So probably.
To say the longer you wait, the more videos you have.
I do, yes, and then I'm like, oh, I have 5. So, it's not a ton of video editing, but it's one of those things that like, I usually try to do it, on a day like Friday this week, right? So Friday, I have a meeting in Southampton. After that, I can go like home and I can sit quietly in my guest bedroom at home and get the videos done because it does take a certain amount of concentration. And when I'm in my office, my door is always open. So I have it's a hard thing to get done while I'm here. So usually it's when I have time to work from home that I get those up and loaded.
It's like school board minutes never
Yeah.
get posted for months because I often check.
I do get the minutes and the agendas up there pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Those
you
I
have to
get up
but
there in the legally required time by New York State sunshine laws. Videos I'm a little slow on.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to approving the minutes from our August meeting. Does anyone have any questions about the minutes? Can somebody please make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. Okay, report from the Friends of the Library.
So I think the Friends are flying high off their very incredibly successful Make a Friend, Bring a Friend, lunch, which was at Sen this afternoon. They were feeling as if they had like 15 people, it would be successful. They had 50 people. And so it was a great event. There was lots of, positive chit chat about the library. And, it was good PR for the Friends. They made a little bit of money. And their next, Make a Friend, Bring a Friend lunch is actually going to be at K Pasa. On October 22nd. And then I believe they're gonna do a third one, which will fall probably early December. I think they're aiming for, first week in December to sort of split the difference between Thanksgiving and the December holidays. So very exciting times for the Friends. It was very exciting.
So did they think they make some money on this?
They did make some money on this.
Good.
Yeah.
That's nice of them.
So, and I should mention that the purpose of these, like, Make a Friend, Bring a Friend lunches are to make a little bit of money. But really the purpose is recruitment and encouraging people to join the Friends.
It's a great way to do it. Food always does it.
Done.
Okay, treasurer's report, Megan, it's
Okay,
you.
all right, so lots happening, as everyone's probably aware. So this is the report for August of 2025. As of August 31st, our accounts are in good shape. The operating accounts are came in as of August 31st as 1,451,971. Our Morgan Stanley account is currently at 487,408. Our Connect One Money Market account, which is the capital account. I'm reporting it here as 447,557. I will say, and I explain it below, the actual statement of record as of the 31st. The balance was 526 and $77. I backed out a check though that had already been written at that time of 78,000. So the 447 557 includes that big check to Belfour. So that's just a more, even though I haven't cleared at the time, that's a more upfront amount. There are other current assets which have not changed. So total cash assets as of the 31st, we're at 2,414,000. Our investments were 3,255,000, bringing our total assets to just over 5,669,000. One thing I did want to point out as that struck me, compared to August of 2024, a year ago, our assets were just over 6 million, and that's only a difference of $357,000. And considering that we had written out over $500,000 towards the HVAC project at this point, all of the remediation that we've paid for, I think that's a pretty low number. So I just wanted to recognize the impact that the investment strategy that the board has undergone, how that's working, and also recognize the individual gifts, most recently the unrestricted gift by the Jean Held estate, and just want to recognize how much that has helped the financial health of the library. So thanks again for those gifts and for people who continue to give. Let's see. So the HVAC project, as I said, is moving along. We wrote our first big check to Belfour in the amount of 78,520. Our investments keep coming up. So we had a T-bill of approximately 300,000 mature on August 19th. We moved 250 of that back, was reinvested into a CD, and that 250 is representing the Jean Held gift from July. And the remaining 50,000 was transferred into the JJML Dime operating account. So technically, officially, the Jean Held gift of 250 has been reinvested into the library's financial assets. And the T-bill that came due on 8/19 is contributing to the HVAC project. We did that just to limit the amount of hopping transactions from accounts to accounts.
Yeah, we didn't want to move all the money to Dime just to move some of it back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the next T-bill on the ladder, matured on September 4th. That had a value of $825. The report on that will come out next month, but just for the board's record, 600,000 of that did go into the Dime operating accounts to help fund the HVAC project. And 225, did get reinvested through a CD, which had a higher rate of return than T-bills at this point.
Yeah, I just wanna let everyone know, so they're not surprised as we continue on with our investments. I think, as they've been warning us since we started getting involved in T-bills, the rates are going down, the rates are going down, the rates are actually now going down. So we're not gonna see 5%, in a T-bill, anytime soon.
Yeah, I think it was like 3.6 at the time. and
Yeah.
So Elliot, who's been so diligent, and I really appreciate his help in handling all the transactions with LPL. I think the CD was, had a rate of like 3.8 or something.
It was pretty
like that.
close to 4.
It was pretty close.
It's better
So,
than keeping it in the savings account.
It is better than keeping it in the savings. It's
That's
better
right.
than keeping it in the mattress, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so remaining mortgage as of August 21st was 3,567,176. That matures December 31st of 2029. Fixed rate of 4.75. In terms of financial activity, the reported expenditures for August totals just over 419,000, which seems higher than our usual nut. But it can be accounted for most notably by the payment to Utica National Insurance Company. This is our property insurance. The payment was for 39,755. In the past, that payment has been split over 4 installments. But Kelly, we had the funds, and in order to avoid fees that are incurred by doing installments, it was paid in a lump sum. So that's the payment for the year.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And we've been doing that for a couple of years now where we just pay it in the lump sum.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, budget year to date versus actual, it's reporting, based on where we are in the year, it's reporting high at 79.96%. But this percentage is gonna continue to be skewed as we move through the HVAC project. Because it's factored into the reporting. So the bills and applied payments are there, bill of payment list, payroll details were typical.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, any questions for our treasurer? It's doing a very great job.
Why is 1 week 22 and 1 week 21? It really depends on if, we have a part-timer in or out. So sometimes we have a very part-time person, and sometimes they're here and sometimes they aren't.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report and the warrants there? No warrants.
There are 2 warrants.
Oh,
There's
there
no,
are, right, payroll 16.
I move.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposes. Okay, treasurer report is approved. Okay, moving right along. Let's go to the director's report. That's Kelly.
what did I write?
A lot.
A lot. I had things.
The type is smaller than usual.
You guys notice that when I do that, I go like, sometimes that font is 14 and sometimes it's. Alrighty, so, great news regarding IMLS funding, and we were told this by ALA. As well as, Chuck Schumer's office, that as a result of the advocacy efforts, especially from Long Island, the House and the Senate Appropriations Committees have appropriated $290 million to the IMLS in 2026, this federal budget. This shows positive support of IMLS, from Congress, and, we're hopeful because the current IMLS administration only requested $5 million to wrap up, their duties and completely, disengage, right? So as we know, it takes, you know, 3 people to make a budget more than, it takes 3, to put the budget together. But it is, great that we are supported on a federal level by, both the House and the Senate. So that is good news, but of course, we're going to keep on, fighting. And then also just to keep in the backs of your heads, please make sure you're checking your emails from NYLA. As board members, you're all NYLA members. And sign up for those advocacy alerts, because when it comes to budget season on the federal level as well as the state level, a lot of the push comes at the last minute and very quickly. And so the quicker we can mobilize and get that information out there, the better we all will be. As many of you know, as you all know, the chiller arrived on August 25th and was placed by crane on the cement pad. Core drilling, welding, piping continues. Newer interior pumps are scheduled to be delivered October 3rd. Project is moving along. We're moving along, on time and as fast as we can. The Friends of the Library had just the most wonderful ribbon cutting for the Ann Lieber Memorial Herb Garden. It was really just a very special event. But so I did want to mention that, that was a great day at the library. That day, we also had our tween writers and our teen writers speak, and share their writing with us, and also our adult writing group share their writing. And it was just such a great, inspiring day at the library. And I have to give, snaps.
Yes,
Because they're always snapping, to Mira, who just, has this amazing ability to just draw talent out of her students. So love that. Summer reading came to a close at the end of the month with 266 children participating in the summer reading program, reading just over 1,800 hours. The 28 teens participated and read 365 books. And we had 55 adults participate in our adult summer reading club. So, for the adults, we have like 55 people every year. Like, it's kind of funny, how like to the number the adult is. Anecdotally from children, they said that they had the average number of children sign up, but they had more children complete this year. If not complete, read more hours. Because sometimes we have a lot of signups at our kickoff event, but we maybe don't see them again. So it's nice to see that we have more participation, not just registration. This library was closed on Tuesday, September 9th for our staff development day. During that time, we do AED CPR training. What was great is we had new instructors this year because our other instructor who owned the company sold the business and retired. I think the staff, said that they learned more this year than they feel they've learned ever at the AED CPR training, which is really great feedback. And after speaking with the instructors, it's actually sitting up in the staff room. It arrived today. We ordered a second AED for the building. Right now, the AED is located in the stairway down here. So God forbid there was to be an issue on the second floor. You got to make it down 2 flights of stairs and back up 2 flights of stairs. So we thought we should probably put one up there. Seemed like a good way to spend our money. And again, the Friends Luncheon at Sen. I do want to mention, when we push the online sexual harassment prevention training to the staff, it pushes to everyone with an @JohnGermain email. So you all probably received notice to do it. You don't actually have to do it because you already did it for this year. You did it back in January.
I double checked before I did it. It's like,
But you know,
Yeah, I know.
they changed it up every year.
They change it every
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Dan, and when I say everyone, I mean Dan still has to do it, because he has not completed it yet for this year.
He didn't have mine.
dang.
Yeah.
So
This is over 200 days overdue. It's not that.
you are legally required by New York State to complete your sexual harassment prevention training as a trustee of the
By
library
December 31st.
by December 31st.
I'll get it done.
We're gonna be
Is
checking that.
there signage on the floors that don't have the actual E AED?
There's signage, no, there's not. I don't think that there is. There's signage where the AED is. Part of the reason that we do, whether the staff, what's the word, actually does CPR or AED or not, the reason we have the staff do the training every year is so that it reminds them, oh, that's what that does. It's in that box. It's in the stairway. So, everybody on staff knows where it is. We can probably talk about additional signage. I'm just not sure, where we would put it. We're not long on wall space, but we could certainly look and see, but usually the signage is on the floor where the AED is. So I think that's it. We can move
Personnel?
That's statistics.
statistics. So apropos of, our statistics are better for August than they were in July. Apropos of the conversation we had at the last board meeting with the numbers being lower in July of 2025 as compared to July of 2024 and 2023. We did have a conversation at our staff development day about it. And then I also had, each department sort of work on talk to each other, work on a report, think about it. And what we have heard back, from feedback is that parking was absolutely miserable this year. And so, especially for our parents with young kids and also our seniors, if there was not if these 15-minute spots were not available for them to zip in and zip out, they just were not coming. Also, the library was incredibly busy in terms of, seats at tables. So, there was some conversations where people were like, all the tables are full in the rotunda. And so unless we said to them, well, there's more than one chair at each table, 2 people could sit at a table. People are really looking for like
They wanna dominate.
they want to dominate their
Their
space.
space.
So there was some hopes that, like people just wanted to use us, and we get this a lot. They want to set up at a table and be here all day, and people often are. But if that is the case and and somebody doesn't want to share a table with somebody else when they show up, there's not much I can do there. And then also, we saw some of our families this was funny, at Harbor Fest, and we we're like, we didn't see you a lot this year, and there were people who were, like sort of tried and true, like July rentals or August rentals, just didn't rent for the summer this year. We saw a lot more short-term rentals. We also heard, that there were a lot of people in the village, but not necessarily a lot of business in the village. So I think we have, a different, sort of population in the summer that we've had in past summers. We did notice that program attendance stayed steady or increased. So if people were coming to the library for a program, they were coming to the library for a program. And I think that that's is sort of a really great compliment to the staff with their programming decisions and what they're choosing to offer. And especially just the growth we've seen in our adult programs. Nancy's been in that adult program position now for for a year. And she's really, working very hard to diversify the types of programs that we are having. You know, trying things, if they work, that's great. If they don't work, you know, maybe trying them again at a different time and then moving on. So we're doing what we can. We're listening to people as they come in and out of the building. You know, our sort of service desks are the ones who receive the compliments and the complaints. And, you know, for this year, complaints were there's no parking, and I can't have a private room all day. So, you know, not that, those are things we can't try to work around, but they definitely have affected our ability to have as many people through the door. Or have people who come in, you know, like casually to come pick up a book and leave. I think what people are doing is, instead of coming to the library a couple of days a week, they're coming when there is a program and they're staying longer. That was the other thing the staff was really seeing, is when somebody was in the library, they were here all day. It wasn't a quick 20-minute visit and out. It was, we're here for an hour, we're here for 2 hours. Because once they got that parking spot, we're not giving it up. All right.
Okay, is there any personnel issue you wanted to discuss?
No. There is a personnel report. You, I believe, have all read it, so
Okay, alrighty, on to committee
we
report.
have to accept the personnel.
Oh, we have to accept them, sorry. Sorry, Elliot, if you're listening. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the personnel report?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, personnel report approved. Okay, on to committee reports, personnel. Who's headed that? Committee, you?
Oh, personnel,
Oh.
I'm sorry. So,
Michael.
I was just trying to think, we didn't,
No
I
meeting.
think, did you have a meeting? I missed it.
That
That
was
was
buildings
the
and-
That was buildings and
Oh.
grounds, sorry, so we did not meet.
It was your anniversary.
That's right. That's right.
Remember
thank
that?
you.
Okay, finance budget? Did you meet?
We did not meet, but we've been emailing actively over the course of the month.
Yeah, related to the,
Investments.
related to the T-bill coming due.
Yeah.
Right, okay, buildings and grounds?
We did meet, we went over some contracts and approval of some things that we would go over in new business. They're gonna spend the next 2 weeks completing the core drilling, piping and insulation of the HVAC into the building. The stairwell and art gallery walls are gonna be painted on Friday and Saturday this week. We're gonna close the stairwell down, so work is completed. People can use the spiral stairs in the elevator. The bike rack this way sign has been ordered. And Kelly already mentioned the additional AED, which will be installed.
Excellent, okay, policy and long range, Annie, you meet?
We did not meet,
Okay.
but I would like to call for a meeting of the policy committee in order to review and revise the scholarship, the pathway to success. And the application for it, because I think that the outreach committee was finding that the policy, the criteria and the application as it's written has been somewhat ambiguous, and it lacks the specificity that we need to really objectively choose a candidate appropriately. So I think we need a meeting.
Okay, so before we leave tonight, can we set a date for
Yes.
that?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's get,
We'll do it.
calendars together.
Yeah, we'll do that before, at the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting,
Okay,
fine.
very good. Outreach and public relations?
Yes, we met twice since the last board meeting. And after thorough discussion and a vote, we determined that we did not have a recommended applicant for the scholarship at this time. As Robin mentioned, it ties in that we speculated that the policy committee might need to meet to review the policy of the scholarship, and we also discussed avenues to promoting the scholarship.
Okay. Nash Park,
Did not go to the park meeting, I wasn't feeling
Oh, boy. Okay, whole business, HVAC update.
Okay, so with regards to the HVAC, we're plugging along. Dan sort of stole my thunder there. I did, so we are working on piping. The piping was pressure tested. And that piping is basically, what connects the equipment outside to the building inside. The electricians were here today running, doing electrician things, again, running wires, from the outside of the building into the inside of the building. Trying to think what else, probably starting next week, we're looking at, hopefully starting to demolish the mechanical room. Cause once everything is out, then the new equipment can go in. I got it at 4 o'clock today, so I did not get a chance to review it, and I certainly wasn't going to flip it onto the board to an hour before we were supposed to meet. But we got the change order request for temporary cooling in the archives. So we've hit sort of a time of the year that we don't really need temporary cooling in the rest of the building. But we will need to have temporary cooling in the archives. Because we can't just open the windows in the archives. I looked at it briefly. It's gonna end up costing us about $4,000. It's not a heavy lift, but it does a lot of really, it's money well spent in terms of preserving the items that we have up in the archives. So that usually the change orders get approved by the architect before we approve them. So you'll probably see that on the agenda to be approved at the next meeting. Nunc pro tunc, but if if Macaulay says it's okay and the other ones, I'm gonna go ahead and sign it because we need the cooling in the archive. But it'll be officially approved at the next meeting. But that's really all that's going on with the HVAC. Yes, I know it looks bigger in person. It looked a lot smaller on the crane. But
It looked plenty big when it was up on me.
what?
It looked plenty big.
Plenty big up on the crane.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're just plugging along, and we're just gonna keep hoping that it stays that way.
No complaints from the neighbors.
No complaints from the neighbors.
It's like stir trouble.
So,
Oh.
I have been borderline crazier than usual, about ensuring and making sure that we do not start outside before 8 AM. So we are following all village code. So that's it on the HVAC project. Trustee training, I haven't been able to pin down a date with Nyla to do advocacy training, but something that Elliot and I had discussed, was that we still need the board to do their annual trustee training. So I've reached out to Kevin Burbisi, who is the director of the Suffolk Cooperative Library System. And he asked me to come up with some dates, and he will come out and do our trustee training for us. I was leaning towards a Monday night. Staying asleep.
No.
Is Monday night okay?
Yeah, but it's.
Okay, leaning towards a Monday night, and he said that he would, it's gonna go over, roles and responsibilities of trustees, and I thought that that might also be an excellent time for us to invite, our newly elected trustee or trustees, there'll either be one or two of them, because we have 4 people for 3 seats, to also attend that training.
We've done that in the past.
We have done that in the past. And what Kevin does is he goes over, roles and responsibilities of trustees, but he'll also go over the different types of libraries, fiscal responsibility. He'll touch on library advocacy a little bit. It's a good training.
Even if
And
you've taken it before,
but
even if you've had it before.
even if you've had it
Things
before, there's
change.
always something new.
Things change, there's always something. new.
There's always something new. He knows that, as boards cycle in and cycle out. Some more, seasoned board members may have seen his dog and pony show before. So he switches it up.
Kelly?
Yeah.
The board retreat we had 2 falls ago, and then the working session we had last fall, that was just for the strategic plan, that's
Yeah.
not something. And remind me when, as a board, we need to look at the strategic plan again, is it every 2 years? Is it 5
No, we look at it annually, so, but when we look at it annually, we look at it. From the lens of, these are our goals, what have we accomplished, what are we still working on, right? What doesn't make any sense anymore, so like, if there's something on there that says like, and I'm just making something up that I know that's not in our strategic plan, like. Our goal is to, have clowns perform at the library monthly to make the children happy. Like, we might decide, like, we've recently learned that clowns are scary and
It's an option.
we're going to, change up our children's programming, right? So we review it in terms of our goals and how far along we're being every year. But the strategic plan, I believe, is it 3 years or 5 years? It might be 5. But we start looking towards like, what's our next strategic plan?
So does the committee look at that annually, or?
It is,
the
that
board-
is, I believe we said we were doing it as a board.
Okay.
So as part of our reorganizational meeting in January. So what I'll do is, for the January meeting and the January board packet, what you're gonna get is basically like. A copy of our strategic plan,
Okay,
but then also a list of things that we've accomplished, a list of things we haven't accomplished, and,
okay, I just couldn't remember. how it
yeah.
flowed. Okay, thank you.
And let's see, what else? So trustee training, so I will send out an email. Before the end of the week with some dates to do trustee training. It's 2 hours. You're legally required as a trustee to do it. So we'll. Get it done,
You'll get fed too. don't
and we'll
forget.
feed you.
It's always a
And then
good
we'll
thing,
feed you.
always good for somebody with free food.
Good, but grilled cheese sandwiches for everyone. Well, Elliot, we can schedule it for when Elliot is home from school.
You never know what they've learned and.
And
then-
English is learned grilled cheese love. So that's it with regard. to
Well, they're
trustee
close,
training.
Michael.
Okay, new business,
All right, good.
take it
All right,
away. one of
so
you guys.
on page 47 and 50 is requisition number 2 for the payment of the HVAC project. It's in the amount of $117,470. And so it has been, it has gone past, the Lizardos as the engineers. Macaulay has looked at it. You have all looked at it. I hope
About to sign it.
the check is there for Megan to sign, so if we could approve that, that
I'll
would
make
be
a motion to approve Bill Ford's requisition 2.
great.
Anybody second that? All in favor?
Beautiful.
Anybody refuse? No, okay,
Okay.
approved.
The next thing on the list is the landscape contract for the HVAC project. Just as a reminder, a couple of things fell outside the scope of what Belfour is doing for us for the HVAC project. One of those things is the landscaping. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met, they reviewed 3 proposals for landscaping. Mahoney's came in the least expensive by a lot. I picked up the phone and I said, Mahoney's, yours came in the least expensive by a lot. What are we missing? They came back out, they requoted it. They said, nope, that's what it's gonna cost.
Good.
And so I had shared with the Buildings and Grounds Committee. I've worked with Mahoney's in the past, at Bridgehampton. I also know that they, work with Rogers Memorial Library. They do good work. I feel comfortable even, at such a low price. As compared to the other two companies, which were, Summerhill and, but, oh, the company we use now for maintenance of the library, Barrows. So, I believe the Buildings and Grounds Committee was going to,
So I make a motion to approve the Mahoney's landscape contract for the HVAC project planting plan.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
okay, we've got that.
And one abstain.
So the
Okay.
last thing here is, that door needs to be replaced, so it has the
The
issues,
front,
the front
yeah.
door right there outside. We got a couple of quotes, we're looking at the medium-sized door, should have been in the packet.
I don't think I put did I put the picture of the door in the packet?
No, not the picture.
It looks like this door, but a little bit thicker. The metal framing is just a little bit thicker. And that is because they have to attach the mechanical door opener. And they were like, you can have a little bit thicker of a door, or you can have a big ugly metal plate. And I said, I would like a little bit thicker of the door, please.
So it'll be to replace both the inner and the outer door, because you're gonna change one, you need to change them both. Because the motor on the top is, and that's a heavy door, I don't know if it's so, I make a motion to approve.
But before,
Yes.
I know, but can I just give a little more information?
Sure.
Okay, so, what you see two quotes for $19,500. One is if we do just one door, one is if we do both. If we do both doors, it's twice as much, so,
Right.
figure a shy $40,000 to replace the doors. The reason for replacing both doors at the same time is because if the motor is dying, is end of life on this one, it's pretty close to end of life on the other one. And also, I just feel like our doors should match, like,
Yeah.
oh, our doors should match. And then the other part of that is, we looked at one quote for it. The reason we looked at one quote for it is twofold. Number one, people who come out and install those types of doors are very few and far between. The company that we got the quote from is the company that currently maintains our doors. And they are also on the Omnia contract or the New York State contract, so we already know that they are a qualified lowest bidder. And so we could ask Belfort to quote it for us, but really they're just gonna quote it and then hire somebody to do it, so we might as well just hire the door guy to do it.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the purchase of replacement of the two doors?
I so move.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Doors purchased.
Hooray.
Okay. On to period for public expression. Here's your last chance tonight.
Nope, nothing.
Okay, thank you for being here. Executive session? No. Dan, here's your chance.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:18.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.